Welcome to the MIB Podcast, where we help you chase your dreams side by side. And now, your hosts, Mike and Talia Osborne.
Well, top of the morning to you.
Hey, everybody.
This is Mike.
And Talia.
And you're listening to the
MIB Podcast.
Hope everybody's having a great day today. Today, we're going to be recording, episode number?
25.
25. And today's title is...
Married and the best time to quit your job.
Oh, I'm so excited about this episode. It's like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. I hate it. Flush the freaking boss and all the stuff. And,
Victory!
Yeah. Just wait. Hold back a little bit. Let's talk about this a little bit before you go out there and take the plunge of, I got the greatest idea on earth. I'm about to take over the world by storm. Screw you, boss. I'm out of here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's talk about that.
In just a minute.
I think any really fire-raging entrepreneurs had this idea before that, you know what? Screw this. I got a great idea. I'm going to go for it. I don't need this. I don't need this job. I hate it. It doesn't pay me enough. The hours suck. It takes away from my, time that I'd be spending 25 hours a day working on my business if I didn't have this job. And yeah, let's talk about that. Let's rewind and let's go over that a little bit because we've all had that idea, but is it that easy, Talia? Is that really a good idea?
It could be.
Might be. Mark Zuckerberg,
but
yeah.
In most cases, you want to make sure you have a plan in place.
Okay, but we'll go over that in a minute here. So let's do a little bit of house cleaning before we get ranting.
If you haven't followed us on Facebook, please go ahead and do that. Facebook.com/MIB Podcast. Check us out on our webpage, themibpodcast.com. And as always, we'd love to hear from you. info@themibpodcast.com. Send us your success stories. Let us know if you want to be on the show. We'd love to have you. And, we just had a bonus episode where we talked about different things that we found.
Actually, I think that one's going to come out Friday. So technically, this one's going to come out before that one.
We had another bonus episode.
We had more? Oh. We're just freaking throwing bonuses out everywhere. You get a bonus. You get a bonus.
So the bonus episode that we did last week was covering all the stuff that we found with profit margins, like real life stuff that we have sold so that you will know that we're not full of crap. And so that you'll know that you can go out and find stuff at regular stores and make a profit selling them online. Yeah,
we're just literally trying to give everybody no excuses and ideas of stuff they can sell to make money, right? So we're actually putting together a book right now about that as well. It's just 108 random items we bought, where we bought them from, how much money we made, how much we paid for it. I mean, we're going to tell you everything you need to know. And the point of it is not to go out there and say, okay, Mike and Talia are selling these items. I'm just going to copy them. Good luck. Go find them. That's fine too. But it's literally to say they sell random crap like this all the time and they make money. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, okay, I can do that. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can. Yep. So we're going to come out with these different things, and especially these bonus episodes where we want you to go out there and start making money first, your first $1,000 of profit. We want to help you get there. So these episodes are made just for that, literally telling you everything you need to know about where we got it and everything else. So
yeah. So let's go ahead and do a little update on what we have going on in business.
Oh, gosh. So Amazon's the same. We won't really go over that. We buy stuff and we resell it, right? eBay, to be honest, I haven't touched anything on eBay for over probably about a month.
Besides shipping things.
I mean, besides shipping stuff when it's sold, but I put out, 50 items last month early on. It took me, I think it may work 2 days, but it was like a couple hours. It didn't take any time because I show you on the our website, right down, if you just scroll down to the middle of the page, there's going to be 3 eBay training videos there, and I can, get these things going really quick, right? So I know based off my, experience, how much stuff weighs, how much roughly it costs. I have a little shipping diagram on my desktop here. I know how much stuff weighs, whatever, and how much it's going to cost ship. So I didn't put any time into it, but we literally sold probably approaching near the $1,000 mark of stuff from a couple hours worth of effort.
Yeah.
And those stuff was laying around. A couple of them were customer returns from Amazon. Some stuff we had bought a while ago and it just fell through the cracks. Some stuff was my personal stuff that we had bought from yard sales a while back, and we talked about a few of those items too. But there was just stuff we had laying around. We got to get rid of this stuff because we're moving, like I said, a few months. But yeah, it was just, $1,000 of just stuff laying around the house. And we're the people that say that we don't hold on to stuff quickly. We usually get stuff and it's gone. It's sent to a warehouse. It's sent to whatever immediately through Amazon. But yeah, we get pretty good. Saying that we haven't done nothing, pretty good, right?
Yep.
That's our eBay story.
Yep. And we are closing in on the private label that we've been talking about. It can take a while, especially when, China has these random holidays where nobody decides they want to work.
Yeah.
So
they had a Chinese Labor Day, right?
Yeah, Labor Day, and nobody worked. So.
Of course, in February was the whole month was
New
Year's.
Chinese New Year.
Yeah, Chinese New Year.
Yep. And so, been working hard, just communicating with China and getting samples. So we got our samples. I'm excited about that. And a lot of the products look really good. We did get some crappy ones. So, definitely won't be using those. But we have a couple of ideas for new products. So here's a tip. If you are going to order something from someone in China and you want to get samples, get the samples, but also go through their catalog and figure out what else they have that you might be interested in, and go ahead and order that too, because it'll save you time in the future by not having to wait on those samples. So you get them in, you say, okay, this is good quality. I know I'm going to use this for the product I'm going with now, but these products might be good for something I want to do later. Yeah. So that's what we went ahead and did. We've got tons of stuff to kind of go through with our partners, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we try to we're looking at things like we have a brand and it's in this category. And no, we're not going to tell you. But literally, it's you try to find things that relate to create a brand with, right? You can't say I have this cell phone case for an iPhone, and also I have this dog leash, and they're just products, right? It's nothing. There's no brand behind it.
Not cohesive.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. It's not togetherness, right? So we don't really. We have stuff that doesn't make any sense, but we're like, what makes sense? Well, what can bind these two together? You can't bind those together. Don't try. But we have all these different items, and we're trying to figure out how many SKUs can we build this with, right? Can we build these 3 items here should be one SKU because they will complement each other and make the brand make the item completely different, right? Because no one else has it. But you also got stuff like, well, we could also break those 3 items up and sell them separately, and that could be their own SKUs themselves, and it's a lot of work, right? So, and to do this, we're putting together a lot of different things. Website we're eventually going to have to sell off of Amazon, because if you guys know the way we talk, you want to diversify all times, right? But without going too far more in a rant, we got a lot going on with private labeling right now. And our partners are in Florida and Daytona. We live here in Maine, and getting together with them is not as easy, and especially when I work second shift, and a lot of work, right?
Yep. So. But let's get back to the topic at hand.
Oh, yeah. What was the topic at hand? I forgot now.
The best time to quit your job.
Yeah, I still had stuff to say about this.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
keep going.
Well, how about the podcast? We've been doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, real quick. Yeah, the podcast, we've been doing that. We try to hire a virtual assistant to do all the editing, and if we had to do more work for her, then it cost us to just do it ourselves. So
I could have just done it myself, and it would have saved me some time. And
if you notice, I think we are a couple episodes behind, and because we've been trying to do 3 a week, and not our fault. We'll blame her. Yeah, we'll blame her. But yeah, we are looking for somebody to do that for us, so we got to keep on looking for that, because we want to have at least 3 episodes a week. We like the reseller episode because we want you guys, as a couple, as a single person, whoever's listening today, to make money. But we also would, we want to have at least 2 good episodes of good value to give you, right?
Yep.
Especially from stuff that we can speak from our experience, not just our opinion on the item, right?
Yep.
Or the objective. So, that's about what's going on with the MIB podcast. And technically, that's only a snippet of what we got going on, because we really got to focus a little bit better. And we suck too. We're not perfect. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of flashing lights and bright, shiny eye object syndrome, and that we're chasing different things. And we got to work on focusing the next couple weeks, especially because we are moving away here in the next couple months to somewhere else, wherever that might be. So today we're going to talk about when the best time is to quit your job. So we've had a lot of different times in our life where we felt like, screw it, we can go and do this or do that, whatever else. And I guess, why don't we talk about like 8 years ago? So I came here, same place. We came to Maine to work a contract job. And literally at the time we were doing network marketing, and we had no team in Maine, and there's nobody in Maine to even talk to about getting on your team as a recruit. But we really felt like we're going to do this and we're going to go out there and make things happen. And we didn't. We never got anything going here at all, did we?
No, not at all.
But all the time I sat there and listened to, the CDs and read the books and all these different things of people that were, I looked at them as mentors, distant mentors. And, none of them said you need to quit your job. They just said eventually you need to. And what was it? I will say that, yeah, I quit my job early that time, didn't I? I knew that the contract was ending in July. I left like a week early. Hindsight now, I'm like, that was like 10 days more of income. We should have definitely worked that thing, didn't we?
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
What was your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely, hindsight is 20/20. So if you can work and you have a job that's paying you well, quitting early is probably not the smartest thing, especially if you already have an end date in mind and sight. And so, yeah, that probably wasn't our best decision, but we were young and dumb and learned a lot since then.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the whole point is you find yourself saying, hey, I go, in my case, I read hundreds of books at the time. I listened to a million CDs about sales and marketing and team building and everything, right? So I figured, hey, I have these items that we have in this catalog of products that we offer. I can go out there and, sell them, right? The problem is I didn't have a sales background. I didn't know where to start. That was really the truth. I didn't know where to start. If there was rules, I'm going to get kicked out for solicitation. I just didn't know. And that caused a massive amount of paralysis by analysis. I mean, to the point where I think I was unemployed for another, 7 months or something like that. Couldn't find a job doing anything. And that was like my problem. I didn't know where to go, didn't know how to start, didn't know if there's any value in the product. And truthfully, there was no profit margin, right? Because like, we can sell a gazillion of these lip glosses, and make money that way, but we got to sell a gazillion of them. So that sucks. And we can't have them on the shelves because that's against terms, and that sucks. And yeah, wasn't good. So if there is an idea in your mind that you can use, and I think everybody's joined a multi-level marketing company at this point, make sure that you know the rules on really what you can do if you plan on quitting just to be a sales guy for the company, right? Don't do that unless you really understand the process and the rules, the engagement, the ideas of what you need to do, or your numbers of how you need to get done, how many you need to sell, blah, blah.
Basically, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, you can't quit your job and think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. If you don't have a plan in place, you'll sit there with your wheels spinning. You're going to quit your job. You're going to say, okay, what do I need to do today? I have no idea because I don't have a plan. So then you're going to spend your time trying to come up with a plan. And by that point, it's already too late because you need to already have things in place. You need to be working towards your plan, towards getting things rolling before you quit your job.
Yeah. And let's talk about, it's funny. I couldn't figure out anything. I couldn't figure out how to sell things. Couldn't come up with an idea of a business to start that I could do, things like that. But what's funny is within, I got a job, got laid off like 4 months later. It took another like 6-7 months to get another job, and it ended up being in sales, which I had no experience in, quote unquote. They told me about cold calling, this and that, and I had no clue. They asked if I liked it. Sure, I love cold calling. I love calling people on the phone, and I have no clue who you are, and talk about how much I love you and how I want to do business with you. And eventually, I genuinely did mean that. When I called people, that hey, I want to help your business. I can help your business, and here's how. Can I come meet with you? So what did I do? I went and bought a book, learned how to do it, and went there, ended up being a number one salesman in the region for several years in a row. And same thing, but now things are going good there. Now I have the experience, and now I'm back to the whole point of I should quit my job again because these guys keep changing the rules, keep changing the products, bringing less value to my customer list of people that I brought on, saying that we're going to take care of them. I should quit my job and do something different again. This time I didn't because I knew better, because financially I needed more money, right? We needed more money. So what do? We started a side hustle, which was a magazine. So if you didn't hear that episode, it's, what was it, tell you?
episode 2 and 3, and then also
What was the magazine episode?
10.
Episode 10 was about how to start your own magazine. We did that, and it was successful. It was doing very well until we had some issues, but go listen to that episode if you want to hear about that. We wanted to create something that was ours, we owned, that could produce income for us. That was it. We didn't have, and at the time, we didn't know anything about any of the other things that we do today. But same thing, that felt like at the time, I can do this full time and I can take care of a family, but why did we not do it?
Because number one, you need a safety net in place. Number two, you want to make sure that whatever your side hustle.
Well, what do you mean by safety net?
So safety net meaning money in the bank that you don't touch. That if there is a rainy day, it's a rainy day fund, basically.
Emergency fund.
An emergency fund, which we talked about in episode. Sorry, guys.
I know we've done so many damn episodes now.
We look at our list. Episode number 18, we talk about being buried in debt and how to avoid being buried in debt and get out of debt and things like that. But having that safety net really gives you some support. So when things don't go the way they're supposed to, you're not in a financial bind. So that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing is that you want to have your side hustle actually making money before you pull the plug on your current job or your main source of income. And you want to replace your income with that income prior to or very close to you pulling the plug.
Yeah, I think well, I will say this. If you just hate what you do and you really want to do different things and you have something you're passionate about, and it has to be burning passion, something you really want to go out there and trade in your 8 hours a day at your job for an 18-hour-a-day self-employment job, especially up front. Eventually, you'll get to a point where, we'll talk about that a little bit in the future, here in a minute, about having free time and being able to swap that around. But, you have to go out there and find something that you're really passionate about, you're willing to pay the price for, right? You can go out there and technically say your cost of living is $4,000 a month, right? That includes your own personal insurance and your housing, your groceries, your gasoline, and some type of emergency fund in case your car breaks down, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. You have that in place and you're ready to go. Your cost of living is $4,000. You should not quit your job until you have $4,000 worth of income coming in through, outside of your day job.
I actually think more like 5.
Yeah, have a safety net. 5 would make more sense, right?
Yeah.
So go out there and figure that out. But that's how it works, right? I mean, you want to be smart with your money, and you want to be smart, especially if it's just you, mazel tov. I say go out there and go for it. In a lot of cases, if you're single, a single guy, single girl that's ambitious and ready to go, and you've proven to yourself that you're making money outside of doing whatever, I honestly think that you can do it, right? I think that you can go out there and make things happen, and maybe you don't even need 3,000, and we need you need whatever. You can figure it out pretty quick if you're ambitious, right? But you don't fool thyself. That's the biggest thing. Do not fool yourself thinking that you are somebody that you are not, right? I understand hyping yourself up, calling yourself the leader of the world and overcomer, things like that, but make sure you actually believe that stuff a little bit too, in your heart, not just in your words speaking to yourself.
Yeah, and if you believe it in your heart, that means you're taking action. That's the big thing. You have to be fully prepared to take the action that's required to make the money that you need.
Yeah. I think, I took a job right after that, right? So when my company started going south, the sales company, instead of going out there and saying, we're just going to go full time and try to figure something out, our side income it disappeared because the magazine disappeared. Well, I got a job. So what happened when we came here to Maine a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I guess it was, I worked here at the shipyard as a designer like I do now, and we built a income through Amazon, but we didn't even learn about it to the very tail end, like in April, and we were leaving in July.
Yep.
So we literally only had like 2.5 months. And after that, we had a nest egg, a emergency fund in place, more like a moving fund that we were going to take it to Florida. And I think we lived with my parents for like a month or something like that. And we literally went out every day and went shopping. We took the business money, every penny of the profits, kept rolling it back over until we were technically making quote unquote income. But I didn't stay home, did I?
Nope. Once we got to Florida, Mike went ahead and got a job because we looked at what we had available as far as our funds go. And we looked at how much it was costing us to live. And it wasn't equaling out to what we knew we needed in order to sustain the business, sustain our household, and continue to grow, because that's really important. You might have enough money coming from your business to sustain, but a business is not really valuable unless it can grow. So we decided Mike should go back to work, which he did. And then
the funny thing though, it wasn't big enough. It was like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month that we could have used. But like you said, we couldn't make it to $12,000 a month or $15,000 or whatever else. We couldn't do it if I stood home, because we would literally be choking the baby. We would literally be taking from something that is growing and is, especially at the point, it was like a September time frame. So that was like the worst time to take money out of the business.
Right, because you need money for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and smart thing, because it was a great thing, because we were doing, I don't know, 12,000, 15,000 in October, and then during Christmas we're doing 40,000 in sales because we didn't take anything from the company.
Yep.
And we didn't make excuses. I worked I was literally 2 hours away in Daytona 5 days a week, and Tayo's in Orlando. And literally, she'd go shopping, I'd go shopping in Daytona. We'd meet in the middle somewhere. I'd give her all my crap. She'd ship it out late night. A true partnership of people, like, a well-oiled machine. We had no BS. We were trying to quit the job. I hated working there. I didn't, I took that job, and I would have stood there if I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not that much of a jerk where I'm like, all jobs suck, this and that. Truthfully, if you find something you love, I'm okay with it, right? Yeah. But I did not love it. Everything they were spitting was BS. And I wasn't willing to go out there and sell my soul to the devil to make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
And so, we kept working, right? Now it came to a point in, we'll call it February of 2015.
Yeah.
Well, that hour, 16? I can't tell anymore.
I don't know. 15 or 16.
I think it was 15. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, it came to a point where I was working back in Orlando, but honestly, it was still an hour away. Mm-hmm. And I was getting my thumb put on my head all the time from my boss. It was absolutely ridiculous. Taya could see the change in my attitude. I was losing my mind working at this place. And to be honest, there was nothing else. Because where we lived in Claremont, there was really it was where it's right next to Disney and all that. And there's without having a degree, I really didn't have any options.
Yeah.
Right. So at the time we were making good money. We had then switched, we had changed up our buying a little bit where we were sustaining the company, and we're sustaining it at $30,000, $35,000 in sales a month. At that point, Taya told me to come home. We had
I kept telling him to come home because I couldn't do any more than I was doing by myself.
Yeah.
And, at that point, now you're at a point where you're stunning the growth of your business because of your output, not because of the money. So we have the money. We just don't have enough people to put more product out to make more money.
Yeah.
And so that was the right time. So if you're considering quitting your job, that's something you need to look at. Is it going to be more beneficial for you to quit your job? Will it cause you to make more money if you quit your job? Or will quitting your job cause you to make less money?
Yeah. And at the time we had our Amazon company. It was doing, like I said, $30,000, $35,000 in sales a month. It did more than twice income-wise what my company was paying me. And, and I was, quote unquote, I think I finished number 2 when I quit. And so I was technically doing pretty dang on good. Mm. And it just didn't add up. So I will say that I wish we had more money in the bank when I quit, right? Mm-hmm. Or I wish we would have had a different plan when it came to putting a little bit more money away or having a more emergency fund. Things that we look at now, we understand better, right?
Right.
So now we'll fast forward. I mean, I did that for over a year. And then if you listen to our first, I think, part 2 of our episode where everything's going great, this has nothing to do with quitting your job, but I will say this. If you're building a company, make sure you have an emergency fund for the company and for yourself, right? We are putting, we lived very low, below our means, and we had money, more money than we always needed every week. We never weren't paycheck to paycheck. But our business, we would almost basically everything that came in, here's what we pay ourselves, here's what the business goes back out in products, and we're maxing that out every time because we want to be this $1 million company. What we should have done is took half of it and put it aside and done this or this, whatever. but we were also private labeling at the time. We were trying to start our course and doing all this. Yeah. We were just kind of doing everything, right? So I will say, have a emergency fund. But now we'll fast forward again. I came back to Maine after things hit the fan because I wanted to rebuild our Amazon company, right? Our reselling company. So that started about July of last year, where we had bottomed out at like, I don't know, $300 or something like that for a paycheck, $300. It was the worst. Started putting money back in, and by the end of by the end of December, we were back.
Yeah.
Right?
Back in business.
Back in business. We're back. I did 40-something thousand, I think, in December, or pretty close to it. And there you go. We know what we're doing, so it's not that hard to just roll over profits and do that. But what happened was in January, I had worked from June all the way till December. Mm-hmm. And they laid me off in December. I was, wipe my hands up. I'm self-employed again, right?
Yep.
But in February, what happens? They called me back.
Yep.
And we're here in Maine anyway till July. So I'm like, I don't want to go back. Talia's like, I don't want you to go back. But we both looked at it and said, why wouldn't we just build a safety net, a bigger safety net, a bigger, holding money in the bank account? Just grow our savings, pay off a bunch of debt, which we did. We paid off a bunch of debt. Our savings is bigger now than probably it ever has been. And the business is doing okay. But what happened?
We got shut down with Amazon.
Again.
Yep. Which is why we always, always, always preach about making sure that you have other avenues of making money, as well as whatever you think your number one money maker is. So
now, wait a minute. It was our fault, though, right? Because we did it. No. And it usually is your fault, right?
So, no, we basically, we were told that we were selling things that were not new, and we were saying that they were new, which is not true. But with Amazon, you have to admit your fault and then move on from there. Yeah. So
it was more or less bad luck because people don't want to pay the return shipping rate for an item that they bought, and then they just want to say it's defective or something,
it's broken,
or it's BS, or it's this isn't new. Truthfully, is we don't sell anything that's not exactly what we say it is, right?
Yeah,
if we're selling a used item, it's a used item. But sad thing, you're not in control, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're going back to the private labeling again, because we want to be in control a little bit. We want to be able to sell our stuff offline of Amazon to do that. And yeah, so good thing I didn't. I was, and this was a very hard decision for us to make. There were probably a few tears in there, probably more than me than Talia, because I didn't want to go back. I love doing what we do. I love working with Talia, and it was very fun. We got to a point in Florida where we worked, 3 days a week, pretty hard. 4 days we were, waking up early, putting the kids, dropping the kids off at school, eating Panera, going to Disney, doing whatever we wanted to do. And it was a lot of fun, and it was very peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoyed. It was the peace of having that. And in Maine, I didn't get to have that because I was, at that time I wasn't working. We were under like 5 feet of snow, right? So there was no peace. It was all chaos and shoveling snow and this and that. But I knew now, if I wasn't working a job, go into the diner down the street, getting breakfast and taking walks and, going fishing. That's stuff I wanted to do back when I was in Florida here in Maine, and now I didn't get to have it. But it was a smart decision because I still make a great amount of money with my job. Talia then got to redo the company a little bit and change strategy. And don't get us wrong, we know exactly what we're doing. I hope you guys don't think that these guys just get shut down all the time.
It happens a lot.
Every big company gets shut down a little bit. I guarantee that Mattel and all these other companies are getting shut down too, just like us. But it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just the price you got to pay. But yeah, it's a good thing I kept the job. I decided to go back to the job, or I didn't. They called me and I just went. I didn't ask for it. I didn't apply. I didn't even interview. They just brought me back.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things where you have to use, I won't call it common sense. It's just
wisdom.
Yeah.
I think that you have to use your wisdom to determine, is my decision a selfish decision? Will my decision positively affect my business and myself, or will it negatively affect my business and myself? So weighing those factors, when we were trying to make the decision of Mike going back to work, we basically, had to decide like, okay, is it selfish for us to keep him home? Well, the answer was yes, it was. Is it more responsible for us to send him to work? Yes, it was. And so, we're really glad, of course, that we did send him back to work. But at the same time, we know that we're setting things up for when his job is over. So
we have a timeline. We have 2.5 months. The end of July is when my contract's supposed to be up. And that's when our lease is up. So we have 2.5 months to make something happen. We really have about this half a month to really go out there and in the month of May, I'm sorry, when you're listening to this, to go out there and make sure that when my job's up here, do I need to be responsible and get another job? Because really it's about goals. If your goal is literally just to have a 6-month emergency fund in place, you have a business that creates more than you need, and you have money to reinvest, to create, to diversify, which is what we do, or you have partnerships like we have, in theory, we have a perfect storm of what we can get done. 2.5 months, I can make a lot of money, save a bunch of money. The business is going to do really well. The eBay will do really well. Private labeling is going to get launched, and hopefully will be profitable after a couple months of getting the product ranked and things like that. But I still might go get another job if I feel like it would be taking from the company if I didn't. Right? Mm-hmm. It's not all about what you feel or how things are going. The truth is, I can go out there tomorrow. Probably not here in Maine, but wherever we go, start a social media marketing company, right? I know it well enough I can do that. Or start a advertising agency, more or less, because I had 300-400 clients when I worked over doing that. And I understand the business. Do I enjoy it? No. Do I want to do all the AdWords and things? No, I don't want to do that. Do I really trust somebody else to do it, though, as like a virtual assistant? No, I don't. So it's one of the things where I have avenues of stuff I can do and start another company from the ground up, but will that take me away from my real objective? Probably. Will that be something I don't really enjoy? Probably. So I say that as just trying to give you some wisdom. Make sure you love what you do, or what you're trying to do, before you say, okay, I'm done with it. I'm done working here, I'm done working there, whatever else. And I will say, make sure if you do be in a situation like us where you have to move somewhere where you have a backup. You can work. I can work for the shipyard if I go back to Virginia, because that's where I worked before. Or I could be a contractor and float around again. But I'm not willing to leave my wife and kids, so it'd have to be that local area that we'd go. Or if I went to Florida, I could probably work down in the shipyard in Melbourne, or aerospace center down in Melbourne and stuff like that. So you got to be really careful about where you go, where you're located, just to use a little bit of wisdom. It doesn't feel good, but you have to do what produces good, right? You don't do what feels good, you do what produces good.
Well, and you have to also, a really big thing is ego. You have to realize, number one, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Like, we're being completely transparent with you guys, letting you know what's going on with us. And some of you might be like, oh, they're not the real deal, or they don't, whatever. We don't claim to be the real deal. We claim to be people who have
real people.
Yeah, real people with real problems who figured out real solutions. So, and that doesn't mean that we don't have other problems pop up, because that's just life. But you have to check your ego at the door and figure out, is what I'm about to do going to just make me feel good, or is what I'm about to do going to set me up for the future that I'm planning for? So have a plan, check your ego, be wise in your decisions. And one thing that we always like to do is check with wise counsel. So that means find someone who has experience in what you're doing, or someone that you trust their opinion and their judgments for their own life, and you would take their advice and you present the situation in whole, not leaving anything out, to them, and get an opinion from them. Now, you decide from there if their opinion's worth what you thought it was. But these are all tips for you to make sure that when you quit your job, that you're not setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and make sure that wise counsel actually has a real opinion about what you do. You don't have an opinion unless you actually have been in the shoes of somebody. Well, you're in the same shoes, right? Mm-hmm. I hate when people say, well, this person told me to do this. They don't even have any, they're like, I want to start an ice cream truck. Oh, who's your wise counsel? My mom. What does she do? Oh, she runs the laundry. What? Oh, that doesn't really make sense. At least she's a business owner, right? Or, oh, she works at Wells Fargo. She's a bank teller. That's nothing even close to being the same thing. You can't, I love my mom, but, and I trust her judgment, but I need her to, she's not in the same shoes as me. She doesn't do the same thing I do. And she would always say, keep the job because she believes in security, right? Make sure that you guys are going out there and getting your wise counsel from somebody you really trust that actually has the same, like I said, they do the same things you do, the same objectives that you have, things like that. Go out there. If you're young and you're listening to this, you're 18, you're 15, I don't care how old you are, you don't have any real responsibility. You live with your parents. Good. Mazel tov. Keep doing that. Don't have a big head. Go out there and make a mess of, whatever you want to do. Enjoy what you're doing while you can, because eventually you're probably going to have a wedding ring on your finger like I do. You're going to have 15 kids like I do, a dog and mortgage. I mean, we have so much responsibilities. When your responsibilities are low, that's the time to really strike. That's the time to go out there and get it done. Go take action, take risks. It's hard for me to take a lot of risks right now. I do more risk analysis of anything I do now more than ever because I have 4 girls depending on me. I have a wife, I have all this stuff happening in my life. That stupid dog. I mean, I got a hermit crab now too. The guy at the beach yesterday. We have a lot of responsibility, and while your responsibility is low, if you're listening, just go out there and make a mess, learn as much as you can, do as much as you can to go ahead, because that's the time where you really can go out there and carve your way into this world, right? Now it's a little bit harder for people like me and Talia. It's kind of rough. Got 4 kids. We have to justify, before we didn't have to justify if we want to go to Cancun and spend a week there. And now it's like, got to find a babysitter for 4 kids and a stupid dog.
And a hermit crab.
And a hermit crab. Right? And we got all the stuff, we got to get them there, wherever we're going. We have to fly to Cancun. We got to worry if everything's okay. And
call and check in.
Get a Mexico plan on my phone. It's a lot. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's a lot of work.
Vacation's a lot of work.
Me and Ty were single. We're like, hey, let's take off next week. And
we didn't plan for it. Let's just hop in the car and go to Florida.
Yeah, my job will let me take off whenever I want to. I got the vacation time. Let's go to Florida tomorrow. We did that. Got pregnant with our first one, then all our fun ended. But that's kind of what we're talking about. Just like you said, you got to really think long term. That's really our point here is we made a lot of mistakes. We're hoping that us being transparent, you understand that we're by far not perfect. We are by far an absolute mess when it comes to our entrepreneurial career, but we figured stuff out. We learned from it, right? And now I'm not making the same mistakes I was before, even though I really do not enjoy, I don't enjoy what I do because it's not hard, right? There's nothing that's makes it like desirable or like I'm trying to conquer something. It's very mundane. It's the same thing over and over. There's nothing to it. There's no challenge. Mm-hmm. So I like the challenge, and entrepreneurs love challenges. So I go out there and just say, learn from what we've done. 25 episodes we've done so far, we've told you every mistake and every screw up we've ever made almost. And we hope that you go out there and use, listen and say, I'm not going to do that. Or that sounds good. Oh man, that's what happened to him. We want you to realize that, regular people, that all of us are regular people. Not everybody's going to go out there and make $1 million tomorrow, but you can. You just got to keep working hard and have the right strategy, right commitment, the right passion, and know where you're going. Know what you want to accomplish. So don't quit your job tomorrow if you're not ready to face the consequences. Don't quit your job if you don't have, for regular people, not you superheroes out there, if you don't have the money in the bank to go out there and fund your job and fund yourself or your family, don't quit.
Yep.
Right.
You got to figure it all out. But definitely the number one thing is to have a plan set in place prior to you quitting your job. Mm-hmm. So we hope that this is beneficial to you. Hope that you learn from our mistakes. And we also hope that you follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MIB podcast. Send us your success stories. Let us know when you quit your job. We want to give you a shout out. info@themibpodcast.com.
Yeah. Leave us any reviews you can. iTunes, Stitcher, wherever we're heard. We're everywhere, YouTube. But just let us know your opinion. We love to hear from you. We love to hear your success. We love to hear what your story was on when you quit your job and you had to go back and ask your boss for your job back. That stuff happens. You know, you just got to learn humility when it comes to being a business owner. And sometimes you're just not ready. So we want you to make sure you're ready when the time comes. But we love you. We hope you got something out of this, even though this was a really incoherent, no map, no outline type rant. You know, we wanted to just tell you what happened to us. And so we hope you enjoyed our rant today of randomness. But you know what? Don't quit your job until you're ready, right?
Yep.
So be careful. Don't go out there and chase a shiny object, and don't listen to other people's opinions that haven't done the same thing you have. Make sure that you follow people that actually know what they're talking about. And we hope you have a great day and a great week. I hope you kill it this week, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Holla!